You might think cruise cabin crew don't really notice what you do, but they do, and not just a little. They notice everything. From the moment you step into your cabin, crew members are already forming an opinion about you, and in many cases, they're sharing it with each other. Welcome to Cruise Revealed, where we uncover what really happens behind the scenes on cruise ships, the things passengers are never told. Today, we're diving into something cruise lines will never openly admit. There is a silent language between cabin crew, and if you're triggering the wrong signals without realizing it, you might already have a reputation before your cruise even begins. Stay with me, because number 4 on this list surprises almost everyone, and it's one of the most common mistakes first-time cruisers make. Now, before we get into the signs, I want to be clear about something. This is not about shaming anyone. This is about giving you insider knowledge so you can have the absolute best cruise experience possible. Cabin crew are some of the hardest working people on the planet. They work long contracts far from home, and they genuinely want every single passenger to have an amazing time. But just like any workplace, patterns get noticed, notes get made, and word travels fast on a ship. So let us start with sign number 1. And this one happens before you even unpack your bags. You bombard the same crew member with multiple requests in rapid succession the moment you board. Think about it from the crew perspective. The embarkation period is one of the most hectic times of the entire voyage. Hundreds of passengers are boarding simultaneously, cabins are being prepared, and every team member has a checklist a mile long. When one passenger corners a crew member and fires off 5 separate requests before that person can even acknowledge the first one, it creates an immediate mental flag. You are now associated with stress rather than with someone who is a pleasure to look after. A simple way to avoid this is to settle in, get comfortable, and pace your requests throughout the day. Sign number 2 is all about how you treat the small stuff as if it is a crisis. Cruise ships are extraordinary environments, but they are not perfect. Sometimes the water pressure in your shower takes a minute to adjust. Sometimes there is a tiny scuff on your wall or a drawer that sticks slightly. These things happen in a floating city carrying thousands of people across open ocean. When a passenger escalates every minor inconvenience into a full complaint requiring immediate manager involvement, cabin crew take notice. The issue is not that you have high standards. High standards are completely valid. The issue is the proportion of the reaction to the situation. Crew members quietly share information about which cabins require extra careful handling. And trust me, you do not want your cabin number to be on that list. Now here comes sign number 3. And this one is about boundaries in a way most people never consider. Repeatedly ignoring posted signage or ship announcements puts you firmly in the problem passenger category, whether it is a wet deck warning, a dress code reminder for a specialty restaurant, or a time restriction on a certain area of the ship. These communications exist for safety and logistics. When crew members observe the same passenger consistently bypassing these guidelines and then acting surprised or indignant when they are redirected, it creates a pattern. That pattern gets communicated. You might not even connect those moments together, but the crew absolutely does. Okay, so we promised you number 4, and here it is, and this one genuinely catches people off guard. Being overly friendly in a way that blurs professional lines actually creates problems for crew members. There is a meaningful difference between being warm and personable with the people who look after you, which is wonderful, and treating crew members as personal friends who you can visit during their off hours, who should remember every detail of your preferences without prompting, or who should prioritize you over other passengers because of a conversation you had 2 days ago. Crew members are trained to be warm and engaging because that is part of exceptional service. But when a passenger misreads professional warmth as personal friendship and starts expecting preferential treatment as a result, it creates genuine discomfort and logistical problems for that crew member. It also puts a target on your back in the worst possible way. Number 5. Sign number 5 is one that experienced cruisers will immediately recognize. Speaking poorly about other passengers to cabin crew puts those crew members in an impossible position. Imagine telling your stateroom attendant that the couple next door is too loud, that the family at the pool is out of control, or that the people at your dinner table are insufferable. What exactly do you expect that crew member to do with that information? They cannot adjudicate passenger disputes. They cannot discipline other guests. All you have accomplished is creating an uncomfortable dynamic and demonstrating that you are someone who generates social friction wherever you go. Crew members genuinely do not enjoy being placed in the middle, and the passenger who keeps doing it quickly earns an unwanted reputation. Number 6. Sign number 6 is about something that happens during those precious moments of crew downtime. Approaching crew members who are clearly on a break or who are off duty in crew-only adjacent spaces puts everyone in a difficult spot. Most cruise passengers have
If these
no
walls
idea
could
how
talk,
demanding the schedule is for
you'd
onboard
never
crew.
sleep here again.
Some work upward of 10 to 12 hours daily for months at a time. Those brief windows of rest are genuinely precious. When a passenger spots a crew member grabbing a coffee in a public area on their own time and immediately launches into a complaint or a lengthy question, it signals a lack of awareness that crew members find genuinely exhausting. You do not have to pretend you cannot see them. But reading the room and recognizing when someone is off the clock is a skill that distinguishes a considerate guest from a problematic one. And now we are at sign number 7, the one that perhaps more than any other cements your status as a problem passenger in the eyes of the entire crew. Making threats about online reviews or survey scores during your actual cruise to get something you want is the single fastest way to lose any goodwill you have built up. Crew members and their supervisors are absolutely aware of how impactful post-cruise surveys are. Their contracts, their bonuses, and their future placements can genuinely hinge on passenger feedback scores. So when a passenger essentially says, "Give me what I want," or "I will tank your survey score," it crosses a very clear ethical line. Beyond being manipulative, it immediately gets flagged and discussed among crew leadership. You are no longer just a difficult passenger at that point. You are someone who is perceived as a genuine threat to people's livelihoods. Any sympathy or goodwill disappears instantly. Now, here is what is really important about everything we just covered. None of these signs require you to be a bad person to trigger them. Most of the time, problem passengers have no idea they are being perceived that way. That is exactly why this knowledge matters. Awareness changes behavior, and behavior changes outcomes. The passengers who consistently get upgraded, who find little extras left in their cabin, who get remembered by crew on repeat sailings, they are not necessarily spending the most money. They are the ones who treat crew with genuine respect, who communicate needs clearly without creating pressure, who understand that being aboard a cruise ship is a shared experience requiring a little bit of patience and a lot of grace. If you have ever come off a cruise feeling like the service was not quite what you expected, it might be worth asking yourself honestly whether any of these 7 signs applied to your trip, not as a judgment, but as a genuinely useful piece of self-reflection that could completely transform your next sailing. If this opened your eyes at all, make sure to subscribe to Cruise Revealed and drop a comment below telling me which of these 7 signs surprised you the most. And before you go, watch the next video on your screen because some of these small things can follow you throughout your entire trip.